Okay, everybody. I had some technical difficulties on the last live stream. So if you are back, if you are back from the little brief interruption we had, well, welcome back. Welcome back. And of course, if you're new here, welcome here. If you're here often, hey, thank you for being here. Tonight we are going to talk about a few things. And if you see my post, it's about CPS. But I want to start off with these guys over here. You know, the guys over there, that they really got an issue. Those ones, the ones on the screen down there. Oh, we're going to talk about some of the issues that they have, and what's going on with them, type thing. So, um, and if there's no one in here with me right now, which it doesn't appear that it is, we are going to invite some people. How about that? And see if we can get some people in here. Or we can talk about what we were talking about. See if we can get some folks in here. Let's see if we can share this live stream. OUT out. So, as you guys come in, if you put your name in the chat, put where you from. Eee, my goodness, I'm telling you. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. Okay, well, I am going to get this show on the road. While we wait on other people to come in, it's all good. And of course, Kush, he don't like me recording, so that's why he likes to interrupt. But we're not going to let him interrupt today. And the first thing I wanted to just make a little bit of commentary on was Jarvis's Butts. And if you're not familiar with his case, he is a guy who is a serial molester, basically. He likes to touch kids. And he took a plea deal, and that plea deal, we learned yesterday, was 30 to 65 years, and that he would basically be spending a long time in prison. One of the things that I noticed that I just wanted to highlight here was just one part of the impact statement hearing that I just found very interesting. So that's what I want to show you guys today. I have that queued up. Um, I have that queued up. I'll be right back, y'all. So yeah, I have that queued up for you guys so you guys can see it. But you'll notice what I noticed, and then I'll tell you what I noticed when you get to see it. But here it is right here. It's queued up right here. And if you want to see any other part of it, you can always go to Law and Crime. Shout out to them. Or, we could play it here if you ask me, okay? But this is what I really wanted to show, just this part. And I wanted to bring it back just a little bit so y'all guys can hear who this is, who's coming in for this impact statement, and just kind of how he looks.
On case ending in 4478, Miss Jalen White.
Hey, Jazz. So this one right here is another one of his. Okay, so this isn't the one that I want to talk about overall, but this is another one of his minor victims who wrote an impact statement based on what he did to her. So here you go. There were a lot of statements made. Well, not a lot, about 5 or 6 statements made in this whole impact statement sentencing of Jarvis Butts. But here we go. She's pretty quick. But I just want you guys to watch his eyes when the next minor starts to walk up.
My name is Jalen White, spelled
How'd your day turn out?
Elynn, last name White, White. Dear Honorable Judge, I want to begin by expressing my deepest gratitude to the prosecuting attorneys and Sergeant Sharon Jones. I would not be writing this letter today if it wasn't for the tragic loss of Isaiah Harris. I often went many years without thinking of Jarvis Butts. Now seeing his image repeatedly, I have been overwhelmed with emotional and mental distress. I'm writing this in a deep place of vulnerability. I'm unsure if I will be able to attend sentencing as the toll on my mental health is immense. People cannot see me
Mine
when I'm
too, for the most
family.
part.
I've been hospitalized and many days I cannot get out of bed. And the last thing I
Girl,
want to do is
I'm
start
meeting my
rehabilitating
friends
myself.
somewhere at 7, so
I want to
I don't
become
even have that much
peaceful.
time,
I
but
believe in
keeping my
rehabilitation and in
commitment.
breaking the cycles of abuse. I believe people can change when they take responsibility and truly commit to doing the work. However, Mr. Butts is already a convicted sex offender when he abused me in 2014. He understood exactly what he was doing. He understood the harm. He understood the potential consequences of already being a convicted sex offender and of being convicted again. Despite knowing the harm and having every opportunity to stop, he continued to abuse children. Mr. Butts has avoided accountability far too long. I urge you to see this as a chance to end a cycle of abuse. Mr. Butts must never have the chance to be free again, because if he is, there is a great chance he will continue to abuse children in his old age. We have a chance in this court and this moment to protect others and break the cycle of abuse once and for all. I'm asking you to consider the future we are trying to safeguard. Even if the court accepts the sentencing recommendation and plea agreement, which I sincerely hope it does not, I'll be present at every parole hearing, no matter where life takes me. Thank you again to all seeking justice.
So that was one of his minor victims also making her impact statement there, and that's why we didn't get to see her face or anything like that. But that was one of them. Now this next minor that is coming up, so you guys just watch it. This is the part I wanted to show y'all. This is the part I kind of want to get our conversation started on today. And prayers that there's some healing that comes behind this for this young lady.
Yes, Judge, I believe we will have on 6461 Ms. Bell and Ms. Butts.
They can come on up now.
Okay, so no, this is Jarvis Butts. Jarvis Butts was accused of um unaliving a young lady named Nazira Harris. It was a very big story last year. And they still have not been able to locate her body, but he did plead guilty to harming her. But also, before he actually was able to harm her, he was already facing some serious counts on touching children, including his own daughter. And that is who is about to talk now. His own daughter is about to come out and say, confront her father. But just watch this man's face. This is really, what I want to stab energy on. Now, if you see, he kept looking, but everybody that went up to that stand, if you go back to the beginning of this, everyone that went up to that stand, he did not look up or try to look at them, but he could not help himself in looking at his daughter. My prayer is that is what broke him, y'all. My prayer is seeing her broke him. Because I just have this feeling in my spirit that Nazira Harris is not in the lake or the river or whatever that is. I believe that he knows exactly where she is, and he could actually lead authorities to her. Why he's not, I'm not sure, but he could.
Okay. Again, if you could just kindly try to talk into the microphone. If you're comfortable taking your mask down, probably would help hear you more clearly. State and spell your name, please.
Naya Briggs, K-A-F-I-Y-A-H-B-U-T-T-S.
Very good. Whenever you're ready.
Yeah.
Never was someone I called that until you did what you did. You took someone I really loved, someone I call sister, my favorite cousin, my best friend, my everything. You changed the way I dress, the way I think. You even changed my sexuality. You did very hurtful things to me. I lived with the trouble you caused me. I no longer look at you as a father figure, no longer as a hero, but now I look at you as a monster. You caused me trauma and made me look at men different.
Now, all of these children is now taken away from this family. That's the other tragedy of it all. The other tragedy of it all is now that these children have went through this. There's a host of other children that have been placed in the custody of others, when they all apparently, which leads us to what we're going to talk about today. They all, at one point or another, CPS was contacted on this family. Hey, Nia. CPS was contacted on this guy. He was told on what he was doing. As a matter of fact, he was in the middle of several cases before he actually did what he did to Nazia. And they knew who he was. And they allowed this man to still be around this baby. And look at him. And if you looked at this whole thing, he did not look up not one time until his daughter got on the stand. Until his daughter got up and started walking up there, he did not move. But you are accused of touching your own child. So do you really, is the way he looking really genuine? Is it, what was that? You know, because he literally, his eyes were stretched all the way over there. He needed to see her. But everybody else, he didn't care about seeing them at all. The Annette girl got up there. He didn't look nowhere near her. The other two got up there. The sisters, they didn't go anywhere. And then his sister got on the stand, which I have such a respect for her, because I wouldn't have let nobody know that was my brother. I wouldn't have. I would have been one of those people that say I need my identity blocked. I'm just so proud of her in the fact that she was able to do what she did. And in her impact statement, she said, you need to tell the truth. You need to give some accountability, give some closure to this family. She said, I love you, brother, and I would never stop loving you. But you need to give some closure to this family. And I believe that Mr. Butts, I might show you. Let me see if I can find it really quickly. Oh, here she go. I believe that this is his sister. I'm so proud of her. And I wouldn't have shown my face. I'm sorry.
Because I go back to like, why was I there?
Because she was, if you guys know this case,
Why?
his sister actually was at his shop the day that Miss Harris went missing. And she asked him, who is that little girl? Because she kept jumping in and out of his truck. And he told her that it was his friend's niece. And she ended up having to call the police and say, I seen Naziah with my brother the day before. She ended up turning him in
I was there on my side.
or giving a statement.
However, I'm a firm believer in God. And I do believe that sometimes we are put in places that we don't want to be in, even if we don't know why. And
she, I'm sorry, y'all. I didn't even turn it back on. Y'all didn't even say nothing. Y'all got to tell me. Y'all know that. But this her, y'all.
like I was put there that day to be a voice.
Me too. I don't think I could. I don't know if I would disown him or whatever the case may be, because, you know, but I sure wouldn't have let, I sure wouldn't. I would have did what she did. I would have did what she did, which was tell the police what I knew. But I don't think that I would have been able to get in front of everybody in the world. And this went viral, and stood up there and let them put my face all everywhere. But she talks about how she works with kids and how, you know, her work family and everybody. She said at first she didn't know how she was going to go back to work, because that's how I would have felt. I work with kids, and now here's my brother doing all this stuff, and done, you know, and it's being charged with this horrific crime. And at the time, I didn't know he was going to take no plea deal.
Story brought a lot of the other victims out to the forefront. And sitting in the courtroom today, there are many Naziahs, many other victims that are unfortunately being harmed right now at this moment. And people are turning a blind eye to it. People are not paying attention. We need to do better with our families, as a community, and protecting our children from monsters, from the very people who are supposed to love them and protect them.
Because they know he did it. They know it. They went without one. They did it without one. They was going to take him all the way to trial without one, as a matter of fact, because she ain't never been seen again, and they know that he did it.
I don't know why my brother has turned into the person that is in this courtroom today. This is not who I remember as a child. I remember the little boy that used to follow me everywhere, that always wanted to protect me, even though I'm older than him. My brother knows that I've been a victim of sexual assault.
So she goes on to say, like, my brother know the things that I went through. I don't know why he did this. But the part I wanted you to see is when she asks him, I think it's right here.
I've been drugged on social media.
They all getting drug. They all, look, everybody mad about that. That's why I'm trying to say, you know, when you are giving your opinion, or you're covering these stories, or you're having platforms, or you're posting about these different stories, you really should be sensitive to the people you talk about and the speculation that you come up with. Like, it's really harming a lot of families. Like, I was following that story about Dro, but I was following it through other content creators. But now I don't even think I could follow any of the content because it's such a mess. And everybody is just jumping on everybody and changing their mind about how they feel. It's so wild to me that people would make a whole bunch of speculations about people before they even think. That's wild to me. And then when they found out that they made the wrong decision, they got to walk it back. But they really don't even know what they're walking it back into because they still don't know the truth. But they walk it all the way to the other side and say, no, this side is telling the truth. Well, you don't know who's telling the truth. Because he's a wuss. You can't call me Jazz. The guy's a wuss. He's been wearing a mask. He's been wearing a mask since the beginning of all of this. This guy is a wuss, y'all. Hey, on the rose with the rose. Well, you made it, girl. This guy is a mess. That is why. But okay, so let's finish seeing what he say. What she say to her brother.
Has been put all over a lot of platforms, including my children, my grandchildren.
So now this is wrong, right? And so that's why I'm going back to what I said. I don't want to get on a rant for that, but I'm telling you, content creators put and then people, or just random people grabbing people's grandkids and making statements about them and all of that. And that's why I said she's brave. She's brave, because I wouldn't have never. And my brother, I don't even would suspect my brother would do anything weird, like, I mean, you know, like that, but he'd be doing some stuff. I'm never, ever, ever going to get on the dead on thing and let my whole face be seen. But no, they're getting it. Well, you can call me Jazz. They're not. Like, this is public record because this is going on the news. They let the news in. But we all know that publicly, you cannot stop the news from seeing stuff like this. Like, this is part of our right to see what goes on in our communities. I'm not really talking about that. I'm really talking about these content creators and people who use these people for clickbait. That's really what I'm talking about. It is sad. That's why she's talking about all of them that got up here and made victim impact statements talked about how the internet do. Every last one of them.
People are posting places, the place that I work, and I don't work with children. I work with children because I had a hard time growing up. We did not have everything growing up, but we did have a grandmother that loved us and cared for us.
That's what, because I answered that. You can call me Jazz. He's a wuss. He's been wearing that mask every single court appearance. Why he's wearing it, who knows? He's a wuss. He don't want his whole face to be seen. Everybody's wondering why he won't take that mask off, but he done had that mask on ever since court started for him. That's why I knew he was gonna plead. Everybody kept saying, well, that man's going to plead. He can't even come in the courtroom without a mask on his face. He is scary. He is not. He is no. He's not a man's man type thing.
However, that is no excuse for what she has done. You could have gotten help. You could have said something to someone. Being a victim myself.
Basically, what she's saying is he was touched, she was touched. The family had some type of secret where they touched people. And instead of him turning out like her, where he would not touch a child, he turned out different, and he has touched many children, all the way to the point of having to transition Naziah the way he did, all because she may have been pregnant for him. Right. The court shouldn't allow him to wear, but they don't. Look, it's so many of them doing it now. Jazz, it's so many of them doing it now. I wouldn't if I was the judge. Are you sick?
Only
Do you got COVID?
I'm hoping that he has a heart somewhere deep in there to tell where Naziah's body is, because she was innocent.
So no, it was an ongoing thing, and the women in that family, because he was dating Naziah's aunt. He was dating Naziah's aunt. Yes, and apparently, allegedly, she wasn't the first one of those children, those young girls that he had gotten pregnant. And that other one, he did force her to have a AB. So what the speculation is that he probably never intended to transition her. Something went wrong with the home AB. Something went wrong with the home AB, and that's how this all came about. Because the text messages and stuff between her, he had already manipulated her. So she was never telling on him. Because she had already told, other people had already told, and nobody was doing anything about it. This guy is a creep.
My brother stole so many children's innocence.
He had 5 counts, including
And
the Naziah Harris
he's playing
second
hard
degree.
enough to know better. I hope that he can remember how we were raised.
Look, these women knew, and the way they act and the way they acting, that's what they saying that they knew. However, I'm gonna still say this. I believe that it's some deep rooted stuff for this family altogether. Both of these families. And what I feel in my spirit is that he just was able to, which is normally what happens in these situations. When we end up in these situations where there is this, it's usually because it's a bit of trauma bonding going on there. And it was probably a lot of trauma bonding going on. And then this man was able to manipulate a whole family of women into allowing him to be alone with little girls. And keeping family secrets. Because she's saying that she's saying she know he was. And I guarantee you these other women's had to be. Because you don't want a man that bad to allow them to touch your niece or to touch your daughter. So it has to be some other things that's deep rooted more than you just want a man. Women, we don't operate like that. So it had to be a little bit more than that. But the thing is where I feel utterly heartbroken over this is that in the last few months, within 2025 all the way into here, we're having this over and over again. Jarvis Butts did this right under CPS's nose because there were CPS reports and we didn't do anything about that. Adrian Reed, which is Nova Genesis Nova Reed's mom, the one that she made the false report, and I told you it was sort of like how Casey Anthony was doing. Um, I believe that CPS should have been involved in what she had going on too, simply because too many of her neighbors knew. Her son had reportedly moved out and went and stayed in the back with the Hispanic family, allegedly. So if this stuff is true, where is the people that are supposed to be protecting our children? The suitcase mom, this baby, with Amore and Mila, all her neighbors say they done called the police and CPS didn't do anything. Even the fathers of her children was trying to get, one of them was out and trying to get his child, and nothing. What is CPS doing? And I got a whole bunch of different cases that I pulled up, y'all, to share with y'all, because that's really what I wanted to talk about. But I wanted to close the loop on Jarvis, because I wanted to close the loop on Jarvis because we've been talking about Jarvis. And I told you I would follow out what Jarvis did. And Jarvis took a plea. And Jarvis plea is a mess. He got 35 to 60 years, but still, it's a mess. They shouldn't definitely let him out any earlier than 60. A lot of times it do be the caseworkers and different things like that. But they look, the caseworker is CPS. The social workers, you guys are CPS. You guys making the decisions and making sure that you're looking at things right, because the daddy of Mila, the one that was saying that he been trying to get his daughter for 5 years from this young lady in the middle, the one who has the $2 million bond, the one that they was fighting over who was going we took her to court recently, y'all, and I might show y'all that too. But yeah, we took her to court recently to get her arraignment. And so she is being charged with that. They're going to get her a private attorney they assigned her a private attorney, the judge did. And something was happening, like the prosecution, the public defender's office wanted the case, but because of the way the numbers fall, that her case needed to be assigned to a private attorney, and they still asked for it, and the judge was like, no, we're going to follow the rules. Why y'all think they wanted that case so bad? The public defender's office was like, and then the state prosecutor was saying that they was trying to poach cases, the cases that they think are going to be sensationalized. They want to take them. And she was like, she said, I'm offended by that comment. I was like, wow. So I had pulled up a few of these, and the first case I brought up is out of Minnesota. So this lets you know this is everywhere. There's some cases right here in the state of California just recently had where they let a criminal have his baby with no evaluation, and the baby ended up getting a hold of some, I guess, drugs, and you done gave the baby back to somebody that just got out of prison and didn't have no evaluation or nothing. And even if they did have an evaluation, these prisoners and these parole officers, they don't be doing. I'm telling you, they whack. I'm telling you from experience. All of that whole, you got a parole officer, they don't be supervising these people. They don't be. And that's straight up. They don't. Period. They let them do exactly what they went to prison for over and over again. As long as they know how to tell half of a lie, they're okay. So this is a case that was closed. Eli Hart out of Minnesota. Eli Hart was a young child known to Child Protective Services. Records later showed multiple red flags, including mental health concerns and repeated instability. Despite ongoing concerns, the case was closed shortly before Eli was transitioned. But their investigative report revealed emails, reports, and missing follow-ups. They don't even follow up. They don't even follow up on these things. And it's just the tragedy. And then this young man, Ethan Butcher out of Michigan, same thing. He had contact with CPS before his transition. Abuse had been substantiated. Like they said, yes, Ethan, Ethan is being abused. And Ethan still was returned to an unsafe environment. After his transition, there were lawsuits and state reports cited investigation failures. I'm just going out there checking boxes. These social workers and things like that are going out and checking boxes. I'm going to tell you, just for me, and I always tell people this, stop chasing money. If you're in this job and it's just because you need to pay your bills, you need to get out of that job. That job is a sensitive job that takes somebody that really wants to care about children to be in it. Really. And my philosophy that I tell everybody all the time, if you're having fun, you ain't working. So if you're not having fun doing what you're doing, stop doing what you're doing, because you was putting these kids at risk. Another one out of Michigan. 8CPS reports. They call these boys the Pontiac boys. 2 brothers were reported to CPS 8 separate times. Reports came from school and mandated reporters. Because if you work for a school, you're a mandated reporter. If you work for a Christian organization, you're a mandated reporter. And if you're a mandated reporter, you're reporting. These things are being reported, and they still had malnutrition, injuries. And after extreme harm to these children, that is when intervention happened for them. Repeated. They called them the Pontiac boys out of Michigan. Come on. Sophia Manson, right here in Alameda County, California. Tens of thousands of reports over several years. Come on, CPS. Tens of thousands of reports is what's being reported of this young lady over several years. State audit found investigation delayed by months. And then they said the system is so overloaded is what caused this. Hire some people. There's some people out here with no jobs. Hire some people to go in and do some checks the boxes. But really check the box. Staffing shortage and delays in responses was cited. Hire some people. There's some people being trained right now not being paid the state type of money that would gladly come over there and do the job. They're waiting for a good opportunity. Case number 5 is of families that are wrongfully separated, okay? Because there's another turn of this coin. Not just snatching them when we need to snatch them. Honey, I know. Not just snatching them when we need to snatch them. But also snatch them when we don't need to snatch them. Look, on the roads, like, don't play. It's been understaffed for 15 years. People don't want to work. Y'all don't want no jobs out there. Don't nobody love the kids. What about when families are being removed when they don't need to be removed? What about when we pulling families apart over some BS and putting children in places and in foster care where they are at more harm than they are in their own homes? What about that, y'all? What we think about that? CPS need a spanking, y'all. CPS need a really good spanking. And they say sometimes reunification take years for these children. And the people working are overloaded. Look, I bet they are. I bet there is a subset of people that are overloaded. And in their overloadedness, they just saying, hey, we gonna kind of roll the dice. Say we did a visit and we didn't. Say we win and we didn't. And hopefully these people was taking care of their children. But if they got an open CPS case, then I think you gotta just, I don't know. I get it because the overtime and all of that. It's like a double-edged sword, I guess, when you think about it. Thank you for being on here. Thank you for being on here because it is like a double-edged sword, huh? It's like, how much can one social worker do? And then when you got a whole bunch of people that don't want no jobs out here. And then what do you need to be a social worker for the county? Do you need credentials? Do you need like degrees and stuff like that? I might go apply to be one. Whatever you put got deleted. Let me see what you said. Oh, I'm sorry, my bad. Sometimes I be thinking I still. People are working are overworked. Yeah, 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 yeah. People that are working are overworked. I do trust that. But then I also probably understand that there's probably a subset of people that don't even like that job. And it probably makes them miserable. They go there and they don't want to have anything to do with it. They don't want to see kids in that type of condition. And you know what? I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I'd be taking people kids. If I went in there and some of the stuff that I've been looking at since I've been starting down this CPS thing, it'd be filthy. And even some of the stuff that people would even post online, y'all. And I'm not just trying to be like that about people, but some of it, you see, they got the nerve to be doing TikToks, and the mattress look like it been outside for 10 winters in the mud. Yeah, yeah. She didn't send no long message. Why did you tell her to refrain from it? All, all she said was, let me see what she said. It's been understaffed for 15 years. I remember when you said that. So no, y'all. That's how I feel like on that. I really do. And then do y'all remember the case of the up in Washington where the guy, he kept threatening, and they kept trying to reunify with him with his boys, and he kept making vile threats to the mom and everything. And then the social worker take the kids over there one day, and he snatched them in the house and pushed her out. And she supposed to be the lookout. She supposed to be like, because it's supposed to be a supervised visit. And he snatched them in and pushed them out and then light the house on fire. Y'all remember that? Some people you can't help to reunify. Some you can, some you can't. And I think real evaluations need to be done. I know we can't solve this tonight, y'all. And we wasn't trying to solve it tonight. But I did want to bring you some updates, letting you know that Jarvis Butts did get sentenced 30 to 60 years, 35 to 60 years. I think that his daughter did something during her testimony, during her impact statement. Or that the fact he got to lay eyes on her, it was something very, like if you saw it, if you were here when you watched it, if not, watch the replay, y'all. The way he was looking at her, it made me, yes. Hey, Michelle, how are you? It made me look like, why is he didn't look up for nobody. And it was probably about 6 people that went before her. She was the last person. And he didn't look up for nobody. But when his daughter started walking in, he started doing like this. He started cutting his eyes. He started looking. And when she got on up there, he started looking. But he didn't want to move his head. So he just was moving his eyes. So nobody behind him seen it. But the camera caught him doing it. And it was the weirdest thing. Go back and watch the replay if you ain't heard it. And the young lady in the middle, this is Suitcase Mom. And Miss Suitcase Mom is on a $2 million bail. And she is going to be held on $2 million bail because she ain't going to come up with $2 million. But she has been assigned a private attorney. More to come on her. We'll follow that case closely too. And then Genesis mom is over here. This is Miss Reed. She's also being held on a high bond. And we'll follow that case closely too, because her body is yet to be discovered. Because she is said to be believed to be have been taken to the coffee landfill. With their high bails, I think they both got like a $2 million bail. I think there's only certain reasons that you could that you do they do a no bail, and I think for children it should be a no bail. I don't think someone that it could be accused of doing something so horrific to a child and you have enough evidence to take them to trial that they should receive any bail. I don't think that either. But, hey, sometimes people lie on people too. So what if somebody go to jail and it's a lie? What I'm saying? What if I'm in there 2-3 years to find out it's all not true about me? Then so you gotta kind of pick your poison when it comes to that, and what have you not. So guys, if y'all got time tomorrow, come join me for Journey Talk. I don't have a special guest, but I do have some things that I wanted to talk about. And I kind of want to start the Journey Talk about marriage. I want to start the Journey Talk on marriage. And your first marriage, your second marriage, your third marriage, or just your first. But just the journey of how to navigate marriage, and what comes with it, especially when your first marriage doesn't survive. So that's what Journey Talk is going to be about tomorrow, is when your first marriage doesn't survive, and what you learn from that. I'm thinking about 3 p.m. our time, which is 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can be my special guest. You want to be my special guest tomorrow at 3? What you doing? Because these topics are meant to heal and meant to talk about. I have a set of questions. 3 p.m., 6 p.m. your time. You can call me Jazz. And we can talk it out and see if we can help somebody get through when their first marriage doesn't last. Because I don't think it's a failure. It just didn't last. And what we learned about it, and, what have you not. I got a story. You got a story. So let me know. And we can actually make it anytime I want to make it. I want to make it like around 3-ish, but if we can adjust that time, because there's a subset of people that I'm going to text and they're going to come if they're available. So we can make it whatever time we want to make it, but that is going to be the conversation tomorrow. We're building a community here, and that community is so that we can help inspire and motivate people and encourage people to be their better selves. Yes. That is what Domesticated Me is all about. So if you want to be part of the family, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you will know when I am live. All of the commentary here was alleged, and it was protected under the Fair Use Act. And because it was protected under the Fair Use Act, we're just using it for commentary. We're just using it for our opinions, because that's all what it is. It's our opinions. But tomorrow on Journey Talk, those won't be our opinions. Those will be real stories that we can share with you. So come see us tomorrow if you like. Great. And guess what, everybody? I got places to be and people to see. I got to meet my girlfriends. We going out tonight.
Consciously free. Rise up, tap in. It's domesticated me. We rise, we heal, we consciously be. No labels, just growth, domesticated me. Journey talking all the walk, seeking mind, body, and soul alignment. Welcome to the space where we elevate.